thing. Have you ever played a video game and thought, I could do this better myself? Well, what if that person was a diabolically brilliant football-headed baby? Today, we re-diving into the hilarious and chaotic world of Stewie Griffin's attempts at video game development. From his secret lab beneath the Griffin household, Stewie has launched several ambitious and, frankly, terrifying video game projects. So grab your controller and let's press start on this adventure. First up on our list is a game that perfectly encapsulates Stewie's unique worldview. Picture this, a grand strategy game called World Domination, the Adorable Tyrant. The premise is simple. You, as Stewie, must conquer the globe. But how? Not with armies and tanks. Oh no. You use mind control devices disguised as baby toys. Build a network of brainwashed toddlers and sabotage global economies by replacing all the world's coffee with decaf. The ultimate goal? To force everyone on Earth to watch the Teletubbies on a continuous loop until they submit to your will. The game was reportedly scrapped when Brian pointed out that a world without coffee would collapse on its own, which, according to Stewie's notes, takes all the fun out of it. Next, let's look at Stewie's foray into the RPG genre with Quest for Rupert. This wasn't your typical fantasy epic. The story begins when Stewie's beloved teddy bear, Rupert, is bear-napped by a mysterious villain who is obviously the evil monkey living in Chris's closet. The game world is a surreal, distorted version of Quahog. You navigate the treacherous aisles of the local supermarket, battling sentient shopping carts and dodging the aisle-blocking old lady, a boss with an unskippable dialogue sequence about her various ailments. Your party members would include Brian, whose main skill is sarcastic remark, which lowers enemy morale, and a surprisingly powerful Meg, whose special move, unrelenting awkwardness, makes enemies so uncomfortable they just run away. The game's development hit a snag during the final boss fight, as Stewie couldn't decide if the evil monkey should be a misunderstood anti-hero or just, evil. Of course, Stewie also tried his hand at the wildly popular life simulation genre. His game, The Sims, Griffin Edition, was less about building a dream home and more about surviving the chaos of the Griffin household. You could play as any family member. As Peter, your main objective is to complete a series of increasingly absurd challenges, like trying to deep fry a turkey in the living room without setting the house on fire. As Lois, your primary task is managing the family's sanity meter, a constantly depleting bar that can only be refilled with cheap wine and exasperated sighs. Play as Chris, and you'll spend your time running from the evil monkey. As Meg, T. Well, the goal is just to get through the day without anyone noticing you. Stewie, as the game's developer, included himself as an unplayable character who periodically messes with the game's code, causing random events like gravity reversals and sudden chicken fights. The game was ultimately too realistic and stressful, with beta testers reporting they needed a vacation after just 10 minutes of gameplay. And we can't forget his attempt at a sports game, Bloonsball 07. For those who don't know, Bloonsball is the futuristic, multi-ball version of baseball seen in Futurama. Stewie, in a fit of crossover genius, decided to code his own version. The rules were even more convoluted. The game involved 7 balls, 3 bases that moved randomly, and a tether blurn, which, if hit, would cause the stadium to fill with pudding. The players were all clones of Peter Griffin, each with slightly different, yet equally terrible, stats, too. The commentary was provided by a monotone robot voice that would just state the obvious. Like the ball has been hit, or a player is now running. The project was abandoned after Stewie realized the processing power required to simulate that much pudding would cause his Time Machine-esque core to overheat. A risk he simply wasn't willing to take. Perhaps his most ambitious project was an open-world action game titled Quahog Crime Life. It was Stewie's answer to Grand Theft Auto. You play as a low-level criminal trying to rise through the ranks of Quahog's underworld. which is surprisingly complex. You'd take missions from characters like Mayor Adam West, who would send you on quests to steal all the city's left shoes, or Tom Tucker, who needed you to sabotage his canker Diane Simmons teleprompter with ridiculous phrases. The game featured a fully explorable quahog. From the seedy underbelly of the drunken clam to the pristine lawns of Carter Pewterschmidt's estate. However, Stewie encountered a major design flaw. The game's wanted system was broken, committing any crime, no matter how small. We would immediately trigger a citywide pursuit by Joe Swanson, who, despite being in a wheelchair, was programmed with impossibly perfect aim and a rocket launcher. It made the game virtually unplayable. Finally, we have Stewie's brief but memorable venture into mobile gaming with Fat Man Flap. It was a simple one-tap game where you had to guide P2 Griffin through a series of pipes by tapping the screen to make him flap his ... Well, his arms. Each time you passed a pipe, Peter would let out his signature giggle. If you hit a pipe, you'd get the classic awe sound clip of him falling and hurting his knee. The game was incredibly addictive, but Stewie pulled it from the App Store after just one day. Why, because he discovered Lois had downloaded it and was beating his high score. The humiliation was too much for his brilliant mind to bear. So, from world domination simulators to frustratingly difficult crime epics, Stewie Griffin's career as a game developer is a testament to his boundless ambition and his hilariously short attention span. While none of his games ever made it to market, they give us a fantastic glimpse into the chaotic creativity of everyone's favorite evil genius. Which of these games would you actually want to play? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this trip through Quahog's digital landscape, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into your favorite shows. Until next time.